This video is going to be a little different than usual that I post on my channel, because instead of just talking about like general faith topics, this is going to be a little more specific to my personal faith life and my faith journey. And I have meant to make this video. I've tossed around whether I was going to make this video or not, and camera's on. I probably should have given myself like notes or something to talk about, but this might just end up being like a rant kind of thing or venting about my thoughts. But camera's rolling, so let's make this video. I just wrapped up my second year of college, and for the first year and a half, I came in with the intention of studying business and sports management, because I've always been into fitnessy stuff, and that's the route that I thought that I wanted to go, and then I kind of shifted away from it, and I was definitely undecided for a while. Told everyone I was just here to make friends. And towards the middle of this year, I finally decided on somewhat of a communication path. And I had intended this whole time to minor in theology. And towards the end of the year, I decided, I guess I was kind of going back and forth between if I wanted to like major communication or minor communication, major theology, minor theology. And by the end of this year, I had decided it was going to be more of like a theology major, communication minor. So this past year, I took many theology classes in deciding that theology would be the thing that I'm studying here at school. And the thing that I didn't want to happen happened. And the title of this video is not really clickbait, and I want to say, first of all, that I don't want to make this out to be like more than it really is. I guess I'll explain what I mean. And the reason that I wanted to minor in theology, I wanted to dive into my faith more coming into college, but I didn't want it to become work. I didn't want to be graded on my faith, and I didn't want to have to dive into my faith for the sake of getting a grade. And the more I took these theology classes this year, and the higher level they were, the more that's just what it became. Work, faith for a grade, and really not even the faith, the Catholic experience that I have always had, and it kind of messed with my faith. Part of it, I think, was that the idea of it being work, and I wanted to take theology classes because there's like, if I surround myself with, Catholic things, with faith-related things, my faith will become more a bigger part of my life, and it absolutely still is. I guess I'll talk about that more, but it became aligned with work. Like if I'm taking classes that, it's school and it's work and it's stuff, like I've never been a big fan of school. Like I just don't like sitting in class for long periods of time and like getting graded on stuff and whatever. And when my faith kind of became aligned with that the big amount of time I was spending in faith-related things was also synonymous with work, that hurt my faith life a little bit. And at the same time, probably even in a bigger way, is that like higher level, more philosophical faith theology classes made faith too complex. It's almost like, when people say there's too much information out there, like if you're into fitness, I'll give a fitness example. There's a billion different like fad diets out there where you could do keto, you could do paleo, you could do low carb, low fat, all these, a million different ways to skin a cat. And what it comes down to is like calories and macronutrients and, exercise, right? And in these theology classes, it's, almost become the same thing, where it's like, here is a lot of interpretations of what faith is, or who Jesus is, or who God is. But at the end of the day, we're trying to interpret and describe something that is indescribable. Like when there's this book I had to read for this class. When I got to the point where like we're describing God as otherly other, and we're using just the most abstract terms to try to describe something, and I'm getting graded on describing things that are indescribable and making this faith so complex with like all these different, theories and theologies and Christologies and everything. Why does the faith have to be so complex? And why does it have to be so, for me, my faith has never been this like philosophical, super complex thing. And I wouldn't say I've had this super simple faith either, where it's just like, Jesus loves me and that's all. I know there's a lot there, but I don't think it's something that needs to try to be carved and dug out and analyzed from a million different perspectives and tried to describe in super abstract words like that than which nothing greater can be thought, or like the otherly other, and then having to get graded on these super abstract terms for the indescribable love of God. Like, faith should not be that complex. And that's what it became. And I found as I got deeper into these classes over the course of the past semester, my faith life started to die down. Because the faith I've always had, my connection with the love of Jesus Christ and his message and his life, and, it became work. It became abstract. It became almost annoying because it was connected with these classes, and it's kind of hard to describe. And I wish I could describe what my thought process and everything is better. But in a sense, studying theology has ruined my faith. Not completely, not like, I'll get into this. To give an image of what I think has happened is that the fire for Christ, the fire and passion for my faith that is in me, say that the flames have died down a little bit. The fire is always there because, this idea that there's, when people say, God feels so distant, or I feel so far from God, maybe come back next week to find out my thoughts on that idea. But I understand that God never gets further away from me. And my faith is always the base of my life. Shirt, cross in the back, like have AMDG for the greater glory of God on my hat, like stuff all around my room. My faith is who I am, and I'm still the same person, but it's like my interest, my passion to share my faith, to go experience my faith through prayer and through Mass and through the sacraments. That interest has died down a bit because of my experience. And that's unfortunate. I'll say it's unfortunate. I will not say that it's permanent. And I will say that I believe that over the course of however long, now that I'm in the summer and I'm not, in school, I will likely have more of the freedom to open my mind back up to the simplicity of my faith, what it really is for me. If I'm studying theology for the sake of, ministry, of telling people about Jesus, about the faith, about proclaiming the good news to others, and the tools I'm being fed with in my theology education is God is otherly other, how am I supposed to speak to people with that? That doesn't feed anyone. Like, just the abstract, the complex doesn't feed, and it felt to me like it hasn't been getting me where I wanted it to. Moving forward, I don't know if I'm going to continue studying it or not. I just took the senior capstone class this past year, which maybe I shouldn't have taken, but I really don't have many theology classes left to finish the degree requirement, so it's very likely that I'll just finish that off at this point. But I guess in some way, to anyone who stumbles across this video, considering studying theology, consider this perspective. And I don't want to detract you from studying it. If you're into the abstract, how can we create some super abstract argument for God? If you're into that, and there's good to studying theology, and I have gotten stuff out of it. Man, I grow more in my faith in a Bible study and spending time in prayer. I've gotten in terms of growing in my faith, the way that I hoped surrounding myself with the study of God through theology would take, my faith hasn't grown in studying theology. And that worries me, it disappoints me, and yeah. End rant. I'll cut the video here. This has been recording for 16 and a half minutes. Thanks for listening. That's my experience. It's not a permanent reality, but my faith is still who I am, and God has not changed just because the study of God has been disappointing. God bless. I will continue making videos on this channel. Hopefully my interest and passion for certain topics to make videos on this channel continues to arise and continues to grow so that I continue making quality content. Have a fantastic day.